In the waning days of the last century, Alphaville and Universal Pictures gave us The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz, John Hannah, Arnold Vosloo. On its opening weekend, May 7, 1999, the film grossed over $43 million in 3,210 theaters across the United States and Canada, making it the greatest non-holiday May opening ever. Though it eventually slipped behind Star Wars Episode I, The Phantom Menace, for second place, the picture did earn over $155.4 million in the United States and Canada, as well as $261 million worldwide, for a total of $416.4 million. And of course you know what that means, right? Sequel. Returning for more, Stephen Sommers, who wrote and directed The Mummy, also wrote and directed The Mummy Returns in 2001. The adventure horror film also starred Fraser, Weisz, Hannah, Vosloo, Oded Fehr, and Patricia Velásquez in an expanded role, and included Freddie Boath as the young Alex, Alun Armstrong, and Dwayne Johnson in his theatrical debut. Oh, who's missing here? Oh yeah, Benny! So today, from The Mummy Returns, we are taking a look at the Bracelet of Anubis. Hi, I'm Rob, and this is A Constantly Racing Mind. The Bracelet of Anubis, worn by the Scorpion King Mathayus in 3067 BCE, was part of the Scorpion King's attire when he sought to assault the city of Thebes. It was a huge golden bracelet that would later become the key to summoning the Army of Anubis. After 7 years of attempting to win the fight, the Scorpion King and his remnant army were cast out into Amshir's desert. So, by the way, if you're new here, we cover the film genres of sci-fi, horror, action-adventure, pop culture, and all things geek. So if you want more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be aware of my new content. Now, the warriors died one by one of heat stroke, thirst, hunger, and exhaustion until only the Scorpion King remained. Now, pledging to Anubis as he looked to the heavens above as if his life were to be spared, he would return payment with his soul, as well as a pyramid of gold which he claimed the gods had denied him. Now, after praying, the Scorpion King glanced down and saw a giant black scorpion, which he recognized as a gift from Anubis himself, and he ate it up, eating it as the stinger struck his hand. With that, the desert sands erupted into a large oasis, allowing the Scorpion King to drink from the waters and finally recover. Now, Anubis had given the Scorpion King an army once his health had been restored, allowing him to re-challenge the city of Thebes, destroying much of it and claiming many lives in the process. Now, the Scorpion King's life was snatched by Anubis when the battle was won, and he vanished into smoke, leaving behind his golden bracelet. Now, the Army of Anubis suffered the same fate after their leader died. Many generations later, in 1290 BCE, Pharaoh Seti I entrusted his daughter, Princess Nefertiti, with the responsibility of ensuring that the bracelet was kept safe while it was housed in a temple erected by Osiris's high priest, Imhotep. The bracelet had stayed hidden within the temple until it was discovered in 1933 AD. The bracelet was placed within a metallic casket with two guards who had originally guarded it, but as time passed, the two men turned into mummies and stood in position as they had centuries before. Now, outside the chamber containing the bracelet, Rick and Evelyn's son, Alex, had accidentally forced the main atrium supporting pillars to collide, shattering the walls and preventing his parents from drowning. The bracelet was returned to London for additional research, but the chest containing the bracelet unlocked itself when it arrived at the O'Connell's manor. Alex opened the chest and removed the bracelet, which he placed on his wrist. To make it look like he hadn't opened the chest containing the bracelet, Alex removed the key from the lock and replaced it with a baseball player statue. And the bracelet stayed on Alex's arm even after the cultists took Evelyn. Now, Loch Na was astonished to find the statue in the chest rather than the bracelet when the cultists reunited in the British Museum. Now, Baltus Hafez, perplexed, inquired about the bracelet, to which Loch Na replied that he had an idea. Imhotep ordered the youngster taken after Loch Na informed him that Alex had the bracelet. Loch Na and his men kidnapped Alex from Evelyn and Rick and took the bracelet with them. Imhotep said it was the key to unlocking Anubis' army, which a surprised Baltus ordered the bracelet removed. When Rick and Alex arrived at the pyramid after fleeing the Amshir's pygmies, the Bracelet of Anubis clicked and rolled off Alex's wrist, which he picked up and tossed a foot away, relieved to be free of it. Now, of course, Balthus Hafiz, the single cultist survivor, stole the bracelet from the resting place in the sand and shipped it off and slipped it onto his wrist, becoming its new proprietor. Now, Balthus Hafiz entered the pyramid and, upon discovering a room full of scorpions, brandished the bracelet, which caused all of the scorpions to flee into trenches on the floor. And then Balthus moved over to the scorpion statue in the center of the room and slipped his lower arm into the opening of the statue, feeling the bracelet click into place. I would never stick my arm or any part of my body into a hole, just so you know. Now, Rick walked inside the chamber where Hafiz was standing. Balthus chuckled when Rick stated he'd see if he could kill Imhotep, but then Balthus started howling in agony as Pygmies reclining on the statue stripped his arm to the bone and gnawed at his skin. Now, Etsy is my best friend again today, and this is from 3D Delight out of the UK. They offer a variety of Indiana Jones, Star Wars, and props from The Mummy, and I'll leave a link in the description. Now, this is a 3D print in gold PLA plastic working replica. When you open or shut the bracelet, the scorpion's legs move and the bracelet closes with 6 strong neodymium magnets that keep it locked firmly. Now, the prop is 7.25 inches, which is 18.4 centimeters in length and 3.5 inches wide, which is 8.89 centimeters. Also, it is 6 inches tall, which is 15.2 centimeters. Now, it looks like a great candidate for some light sanding and some black and gold paint. But for now, this goes with my growing mummy collection. And if you like the channel, please consider supporting us. I will leave a link to both my Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee in the description. So let me show you how this opens. Now, the magnets are powerful, and at first I was worried about breaking it, but it will open. And when it does, look, check this out. The legs move. Okay. So in this film, the Bracelet of Anubis is the means to an end. Like the headpiece of Ra, which is the key to finding the Ark of the Covenant, or in The Last Crusade, the Grail Tablet, Sir Richard's shield, and Henry Jones Sr.'s diary are needed to locate and navigate the Holy Grail. Now, in The Mummy, Evie uses the map of Hamunaptra and the key that opens the Book of the Dead, which they inadvertently use to raise Imhotep. All means to an end for our heroes to accomplish their ultimate goal in stopping evil from ruling over the world. Now, The Mummy Returns was a fun action-adventure, slightly steampunkish family semi-horror film with a PG-13 rating. Now, this is a film that I own and I watch whenever it's on broadcast or streaming anyway. Not a deep film, however, it does get the adrenaline going. It does show that the O'Connells actually didn't just happen onto the sands of Egypt. Coincidentally, Evie is possibly biologically very distantly descended from Seti I. She did mention in the first film that her mother was Egyptian, but more importantly, she is the ancient pharaoh's reincarnated daughter, who is in line with the 1930s version. Now, also, Rick is also confirmed to be a part of the Magi. And the battle pairings of Anck-su-namun and Nefertiti, Rick and Imhotep, Ardeth Bey and Loch Na, and I did you all a favor of not showing you the horribly CGI generated Rock as the Scorpion King, which was the next sequel coming out of the franchise a year later. Unfortunately, it won't be until another 7 years that a direct sequel, The Mummy: Tomb of the Dragon Emperor in 2008, shows up. Now, all in all, this is a nice affordable piece to add to the collection. So, thank you for watching. Make sure to check out this video right here, and take care.